best friend.
Oh, hello.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh,
How are you
okay,
doing?
cool.
Let's see.
So, what do we do?
Okay. Well, first I'll start out. I just want to ask you, like, what are if you have any questions, like just like any general questions you like want to ask me in like voice that you can't really express in like text form and chat. Well, what are some questions you're just like you're having trouble understanding? Like anything
Mm,
about the lane specifically or about specific champions? Maybe I can explain. We gotta get that out the way before we move on.
yeah, with Riven, like I feel that if I don't get like really a hit, I don't put any like damage out. Literally, I am like 2k above the support damage. So,
Yeah.
like when not behind, but for example, I have like a don't know Malphite,
Mhm.
uh, and we are one kill, one death each,
Yep.
and I'm not able to like get a good fight, and like do my job, put the damage out.
Yeah. Are you talking about just versus him, like in the one v
No,
one
no,
scenario, or are you
in
talking about
general,
like in a team fight? You think in a team fight he's just doing so much more than you?
yeah, in team fights, but not just my Malphite, like the situation.
Yeah, yeah. You're talking about any situation, he just
Yeah,
feels more impactful.
like when I'm not ahead, I feel like
Yeah.
I can do.
And you're saying you guys are just even, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just gonna be like general mechanics and whatnot that need to be improved. I did watch some of your VODs, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna show you some of the things that you're doing wrong in your combos. We'll work on that a bit. For the most part, I mean, if you're in your rank, you do need to try to be ahead, and even if you're not like killing your lane opponent, you probably do need to be trying to farm more because I saw your CS was kind of low. And I say you need to be farming better. It's not just like taking more camps. Sometimes just lasting in lane. There's a lot of times, and there's a few small things. It's gonna seem small, but um, uh, I'm really gonna shed some light on some things that you need to be doing just to ensure you get some more last hits out. It's gonna seem small, but it's very important because
Okay, cool.
that's what's gonna get you ahead. Okay. Is there any other question you had?
Uh, mm, yeah, but like build,
Oh,
like
about your
what's
build?
a
Okay.
yes, like
All right.
I really I find really difficult what to build after like my third item that I normally go Sterax or GA.
You're already building Cleaver Death Stance
Yeah, yeah.
every game, and you're saying you don't have trouble with the third item. It's after that you're saying.
After that,
Okay, yeah, yeah. I can explain those items to you. Okay, so let's see what some of the common items are, right? So let's see. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you.
okay,
Okay, you can see this fine, right?
yeah, perfect.
Okay. So common items. Okay. Well, for one, if you get Sterix or Guardian Angel, both of those items are good in many situations. It's just sometimes you're wondering which one you get first. So if you get Guardian Angel, then a lot of times Sterix Gauge will be a fine fourth item, and if you get Sterix Gauge first, GA will be a fine fourth item. Um, GA is going to be, strong in team fights. It's an earlier power spike, which is why it usually tends to be more the third item than Sterix Gauge if
Mhm.
you're ahead. It's obviously going to be a bit better versus AD, so if they have like a lot of magic resist, maybe you might, or I mean, a lot of magic damage, you might not want to build that first. That'll be where the health from Sterix Gauge will make you a bit tankier versus that. If they have a lot of tanks and they have a lot of damage, Lord Dominic's Regard, or if they're tanky, if you have a lot of AD on your team, so they're building like a lot of tabbies, but they also have a lot of healing, the Mortal Reminder is going to be more important. Usually, the Mortal Reminder is going to be more common in this meta because there's so much healing right now with a lot of people running Death Stance because it's OP. You got like your Graves and even just most of your Bruisers are going to be running Death Stance, um, which is a lot of healing. That's why people build Executioners or build Grievous Wounds versus Riven.
Hmm.
There's so much Conquer out. There's just a lot of healing in the game right now, so you'll have to determine if it's worth it for you to get Mortal Reminder instead of the Lord Dominic's if they're tanky. So just to write down a few. Let's get like a little notepad. We got Sterix Gauge. Uh, we got Guardian Angel, Lord Dominic's, Mortal Reminder. I'm gonna put them in most common order that you'll see them in, I guess. Let's do this. All right. I think these are the most common fourth items I get. There will be some more. I personally think low elo Rivens tend to want to build Mercurial Scimitar too often. Anytime they have hard CC, they're like, QSS, Mercurial Scimitar. I think that's a good pick here, and it's usually not because it's so much gold. It's so expensive, but it's 1300 for 30 magic resist. It's just not very good, and it's just for 1 CC. It's really good versus in a few different situations. Like if Malzahar is going to be the only thing that's going to kill you, it, sometimes Mordekaiser, but generally you would prefer like QSS can get you out of Mordekaiser, you probably know.
Yeah.
Um, but generally, it's going to be better if you can get combat stats for everybody, and you can be strong enough where you can actually deal with the Mordekaiser in his ult. Unless you are so fed and you're 1 versus 9 that you want the QSS just because sometimes, and this won't have as much in lower rank, but if you're so far ahead, the Mordekaiser will ult you just so you can't be in the team fight, and he'll just be like a dummy. He'll just be like trying to run around in his ult to try to not die. You don't see that too often though, but
Ult and
that's just the
Xenias.
situation. Hmm?
He will ult and then Xenias
Exactly, and then
himself.
Zanya's, and he'll push you away. He's just gonna try to stall, and that's doing is basically making your team 4 versus 5 without you, and you're the only one ahead. So he kind of just stalls. You don't see that too often, but I mean, it is an option though. We'll put it on there, but most of the time you don't want to build a Mysterious Scimitar. It's just really expensive for the stats it gives. I mean, look, it's almost the same as Ravenous Hydra. It's 100 less. It gives 30 less AD, 8% less lifesteal. It gives some magic resist, but it's not even that much. I mean, this thing's kind of bugged. 35 magic resist. How much is a null magic mantle? 25? Yeah, so you see what I mean? The stats on it just aren't that great. It's just because the active is really strong in some situations. Sometimes you have to build it. Um, what are some? I feel like there might be one more item. Uh,
Malmortius.
hmm?
Malmortius? Like ex
Oh,
Legion?
generally not Maul, but I did remember the other one, and it's actually Roundus Hydra. The reason I don't build Maul usually is because it usually overcaps CDR, and I don't think the item is very stat efficient. It used to be, and they nerfed it pretty hard. If they have a lot of magic damage, and it's good for you to take Transcendence in that game, go sorcery, then I actually will end up building Maul eventually. Um, generally I don't need it too much anymore because Death Dance gives magic resist now, which is awesome because
Ah,
before
okay.
Riven had no access to magic resist unless you went with the shitty Maul build. It's just not that good. But if they're like all magic damage, then go ahead and take Transcendence, and then you can go Maul eventually and stack it with Death Dance and Mercury Treads, and you'll be super strong. You don't generally see that many. I rarely see full mage comps anymore. Usually you see a lot more full AD, and just because AD's a bit stronger right now. Those are the most common items though. Sometimes there's a rare situational item that you can go with, maybe like Edge of Night or Yumu's. There's a few items you can mess around with, but I mean, I wouldn't worry about that. I have a special go sometimes I go gargoyle stone plate in a very very special circumstance, but I wouldn't worry about those. Just go with these standard items. But I did want to explain the Ravenous Hydra. Ravenous Hydra is also could be your third or fourth item. I'll put that it, I'll put it on like the same line as Mortal Reminder. Um, It's Ravenous Hydra, just if you can have the extra damage with like you don't have to worry about dying too much. So if they're like kinda tanky, if they're like bruiserish, but they don't have a lot of armor, and they also don't have grievous wounds to mess with the lifesteal stat on there, then it'll be really good. Yeah, usually more Reminder is going to be better though if they're being tanky, but Hydra looks cool in the combos. If you're making that montage video, so anyways, these are going to be your most common third or fourth items. Actually, just all your end items. It's more so the order that you're building it in. But usually GA is going to be your third or fourth item.
Okay,
If it's not going to be GA, if GA is not good enough, then it's going to be Stairs Gauge, and then you're gonna be looking at getting these things. More reminder, it's generally gonna be strong once they start getting their armor towards the late game.
perfect. Yeah. So in I should build Sterak, but what I think when I'm splitting or no.
Yes, Sterix Gauge and Ravenous Hydra are going to be like your big balls of stats for like 1 versus 2 situations.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
and that's what you want. Guardian Angel, like like we said, is going to be the team fighting item because of that resurrection. That's time where your team can do a lot, and the enemy team is being pressured because they know you're about to come up. They're still going to have to deal with you again. It's going to allow you to just flash on their carries and then not be punished so hard when they turn on you. Like you're expected to let that GA pop. It's also going to make you a bit tankier too, so that when you dive in there, you might not even get your GA pops. Um,
And when I'm behind, what should I take?
mhm.
Like go with my team or try to split
That's
and get
something
farm?
you're gonna have to determine in the game. It's not just am I ahead or behind. Usually, you could look at the Guardian Angel as when you're ahead, you can force a team fight, but you can't always force a team fight when you're ahead. You can't always grouping five isn't always the best situation. Sometimes you want to split and then run over there, and try to get a pick. But usually when you're ahead enough, you can be like, okay, I'm really strong, guys. Let's just go 5 versus 5, and I'll kill everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But Starks Gauge can also just be Starks Gauge is just good in all situations. So I do recommend Starks Gauge or Raven's Hydra a little bit more at low rank as a third item than Guardian Angel, only because in lower rank you'll tend to get caught out a bit more, and then you'll lose your GA, and then it's useless. I mean, the stats aren't terrible on it, but the reason GA is good is because of that passive that allows you to have a really strong team fight. Um, all right.
Wait, one question more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you open with jungle?
Do I open with jungle?
No, no, with jungle, with Ghost Bullet.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding.
Uh, like, do you build? What do you think about building Ghost Blade
Oh,
first?
Ghostblade.
Yeah.
Um, it's honestly not that bad. I tested it out a bit.
Mhm.
There's a you can do into like if you're already ahead like a kill or two, and it's somebody who can't really get away with building a lot of armor, maybe like a Aurelia or something, or even like some range top laners if you'll think you can kind of one shot them. Like I don't generally recommend it. It's just because it's gonna make you a bit squishier. You're gonna feel less impactful in team fights because you're just so squishy. I wouldn't recommend it to lower rank players. I think you should just be a bit tankier, so you don't have to
Okay.
worry about just I think it builds bad habits of just thinking you have to one shot the carries and get out. which I don't think that's Riven's best play style. Sometimes it is in the right situation, but it's too hard to explain what when that situation is. And like I said, I think it just builds bad habits. So I would just go with the safer option. It's going to be better in most cases. So I
Uh,
wouldn't worry about it.
yeah. And well, I will ask you about Essence River, but it's like you always explain that, so I don't have questions
Yeah, yeah,
about.
yeah. It's definitely not bad and it's doable in some situations. Um, but like it's kind of like the Yumus, but not as punishing. It's the same concept. There are times when it's useful, but trying to explain it, and a lot of times it'll just be better to go with the safer situation, you know, so you don't develop bad habits.
Okay.
Um, all right. So do you have any more questions? Well,
Uh,
whenever you're finished, we'll just move on to your OPIGG. But let's get all your questions out the way first.
no, no, not right now. If I like remember something while we are going, I ask you.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Um, let's see. I got your OPIGG right here. I did look at it a little bit before. And I did watch some of your VODs, and one of the things I noticed pretty early on was that you generally don't build your refillable potion early enough. You tend to build a lot of health potions too much. And that's just a really common mistake. The health potions are really inefficient. Um, there are some situations where you can get it on your first back, but you want to try not to if you can. Just maybe try greening out like an extra minion or so, or even like going with an item that costs 50 less, like instead of a longsword, maybe you go with like a cloth armor to get the refillable if they're double AD, top in jungle. But let's go ahead and look at some stuff. Okay, so this is another thing. You were against Nasus in this game. You don't go Doran Shield versus Nasus. Doran Shield is a great item to start with on Riven, and it can teach you to like, play back and farm up since you can take a lot of hits and you can just focus on minions. But it's not good enough versus Nasus because Nasus is like one of Nasus is the champion you need to be punishing in the early game so that he doesn't catch up to you. Um, and the health stat isn't going to help you enough. Nasus isn't really going to be poking you down. I mean, maybe if you go Doran's Blade, he can poke you down if you're not making good enough of use of the lifesteal and you're not getting the best trades. But I would just recommend going longsword 3 pots versus him, so you can play really aggressive, take some hits. You'll use a lot of health potions, which like we said, aren't very cost efficient. But you'll be making him lose a lot more because that's going to be like a really strong early lane phase for you is going longsword. And you need to make sure you're poking him out. You guys shouldn't be even CS in that matchup.
Let me write that down,
Okay.
like really fast. Okay.
Okay. Um, let's see. You went Caulfield's Warhammer here. It sucks that I can't see how much you backed with. That's why looking at the some of your VODs will be a little bit nicer. Um, but maybe if you had like 50 more gold here, then you could have gone. Well, I guess maybe 100. You could have gone with longsword refillable. It's kind of hard to say because I can't see what you have here. But in general, your build seems fine. I wouldn't go with executioners versus Nasus until a bit later on. I think I'd prefer just to get the extra death dance. I don't think it's that bad. I don't want to make it seem like I'm flaming, but there's just no other healing on the team, so I would probably wait on it until like you really need it for the 1 versus 1. But if you already have your cleaver and you're working on your death stance, you should still be beating Nasus if you're ahead. Granted, you were behind, but if you're behind versus Nasus, you're not gonna beat him anyways. So there's no point in building the executioners. Just try to farm up and wait for a jungle gank, and you guys can 2v1 them. I don't know how you got behind here. I can't watch the game, but
Grapes hard carry, like
where is
really,
he?
really. Yeah.
Okay. Um. Oh yeah, looks like he did. All right, let's see. There's another game over here. You see, and this one you went Doran's Blade versus Fiora. This would have been better to go the Doran Shield against. Doran's, but you can go with anything versus the Fiora. But if you're going Doran's Shield versus Nasus, and you're going Doran's Blade versus Fiora, that's like you got it like mixed up. Fiora can actually punish you. Fiora has a really strong early game, so that would be one where you might want to take Doran's Shield against, so you could farm up a bit. If you want to play aggressive though, you could go Longsword. Doran's Blade is a little bit risky. I do it sometimes. That's usually only when I'm smurfing. If I'm playing on my main, I'll usually go Doran's Shield or Longsword.
Okay.
Also, nah, I guess this is fine. Okay, right here you bought two health potions. Uh, a second Doran's Blade is going to be good versus Fiora. So if you really could only if you really had just 550 gold, then it's not bad here. Like even if it's 80 Shaco, it's not bad for you to go. Oh well, he was AP, but like it's fine to not go with the cloth armor fill like I was saying earlier, just because if you buy one Throne's Blade, the second one's going to be really strong against her. So I'm not gonna put you down on that, but I would say if you could in the situation, hopefully you tried to get enough where you had 600 gold instead. Because if you just had 50 more gold, if you were able to last you like two more minions, then you could have had a refillable instead of having to buy it here where this is 100 wasted gold. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Um,
Like
so a lot of times you need to be looking to see how much gold you're going to have before you recall and be like, okay, is this how much I want to back with? Sometimes that's like the determining factor. It's like, okay, I have a good amount to back with, and my wave's in a decent enough spot. Let me go buy some items.
I
Uh,
do have that, but it's I upload it.
mhm.
So
Also, I would have gone Tenacity here. It's really good versus Braum. Shaco box or the what they did with Shaco ult, where when he dies, he instantly has the boxes instantly trigger. Plus you have Fiora Parry. There's Vayne Sun. It's not like super big, but it's mainly the Braum. You're going to want that Tenacity later. Tenacity is just really strong. Now against this comp, I wouldn't suggest the Tenacity. You went Tenacity? Okay, they do have Morgana. I didn't see the
yeah,
Morgana, but still, it's like only Morgana. I mean, you could count the Nasus with her, maybe the Jinx traps, but I don't know if I would go Tenacity just for the Morgana. I know it lasts a while, but I, the thing is, I was expecting if you went attack speed here, you would go attack speed here, because the attack speed's gonna be so good versus the Nasus and Graves. But then
I
you
was scared
you didn't go
of the last.
tenacity versus Braum. Come on now, because Braum, I mean, you can at least dodge some Morgana Q a lot. Um, and I mean, if there was any other decent CC besides Jinx traps, I would say tenacity was a good option, and I might have gone it too. But I would think I don't know why you didn't go tenacity here, is what I'm saying. Uh, Yeah, Braum, all he has to do is auto attack you. And then if they're basically you're going to get guaranteed stunned in a fight, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Like when I play against an Irelia or a Fira,
Mhm.
like from my respect for their picking like a difficult champ,
Mhm.
I pick like attack speed so we can 1v1.
I mean, it's respectable, but it's stupid.
If you
I'll
look,
just
I
say,
only pick like Riven into Fiora
oh my god,
Irelia
that's
because
funny.
I can guarantee them. It's like
Okay,
really
yeah, but
really.
we're focused on winning the games. Oh man, that's funny though. All right, most of your builds seem pretty good. This was definitely a good Essence Reaver game. So like it was smart of you to know when to go with the Essence Reaver. Um, it was good that you went to Cleaver versus Nasus. Yeah, this is like a really smart decision to go here. So I'm glad you actually seem to know when you should go with the Essence Reaver versus doing just one every game, or just doing it
And
too much.
all streamers, including you, repeat always like SN rares with no tags. If you get ahead, and so
Yeah,
it's like the easy to know.
yeah, yeah. I got you. Hmm. Okay. Nullifying Orb isn't bad versus Teemo, but if you are going to go with sorcery, you have to take Transcendence. That's the best part about this tree. Gathering Storm does not compare to the power of Transcendence. Um,
Okay, so when I take sorcery second,
hmm
I should, like in this case,
yeah.
nullify orb and transcendence instead of
You,
gathering storm.
uh, you could. That's kind of preference. You can take Nullifying Orb or Gathering Storm, for your secondary. I personally prefer Gathering Storm a bit more, but a lot of people prefer the Nullifying Orb. If they had an AP jungler, I probably would have gone with the Nullifying Orb instead. Because it is good versus Teemo. Personally, I would personally just go Inspiration anyways, but it's not bad to go with Sorcery second. But you need to have Transcendence because you're going to need to have CDR versus Teemo. And I personally, um, I don't play this for the early game. I play for six. I would still take the CDR rune even if you're going um with Transcendence, so that you can like have just have more abilities to help you last in early game, and just every bit of CDR is going to help. And it doesn't matter too much that you don't have the extra damage because that's going to get converted into AD later anyways. So even though this is overcapping, if you have Transcendence, it's it's gonna scale better, and that CDR is going to be the most important factor in whether you're able to kill Teemo enough because you need to um wait what I don't know why I'm forgetting the term. What's the term for staggering your Qs? Yeah, stagger. Uh, the way you kill Teemo is you stagger your Q, and if he gets too close, and when he goes to auto attack you or he goes to blind you, you ER third Q him, and that's going to work in almost every rank. It's hard to find those situations the higher rank you go. But they're going to because they're going to want to poke you, and a lot of people don't understand that when Riven can jump on them. Um, so when you hit him with your third Q, the only way Teemo can get away from you, there's two things Teemo can do if you hit him with that ER third Q. He can either kill you before you kill him, or he can run away. But the only way he can run away is if your abilities don't come up fast enough to chase him down before he gets too far. And with this build, he can just get away. And this is just considering a one versus one situation. Because you don't have Transcendence and you don't have CDR. You only have 10% CDR, it just is not going to cut it in that. And if he builds boots in the early game whatsoever. And they typically do build boots early. They usually don't go with
Maybe
inspiration. Yeah, you can see
that's
this.
proof.
Yeah, they usually go sorcery, domination, uh, usually domination first. I mean, it doesn't matter, but they typically build boots kind of early, especially in a matchup like Riven, where you're going to be a bit more mobile, so they're going to be a bit more afraid of you, and especially if they rush tabbies. So remember, CDR is very important in most range matchups. It's especially good versus Teemo because he has the shrooms that are going to slow you, and he has the movement speed bonus on his W. So you need to have CDR before you can fight him.
Okay.
All right, I think that's it for the most part on the OPI GG. I think we're ready to go ahead and watch some of your games.